Welcome back to the Stay Introverted Podcast. I am your co-host, Jay Coleman.
And I am your other co-host, Steph Laffey.
And as always, we're definitely just appreciative of you taking the time out to listen to this podcast with two introverts with something to say.
We have a lot to say. Well, after years of being so quiet, of course we do.
Yep. Now, today's episode is probably going to make folks wonder why it wasn't our very first episode.
Yeah, well, in fairness, we didn't think of it until like a week ago.
Exactly. But you can't have a podcast with two introverts and not discuss the bane of introverts' existence, which is, of course, small talk.
Oh boy. I've had quite a relationship with small talk over the course of my life. I'm curious if that is true for you.
If by relationship you mean I hate its existence and it's very abusive towards me, then yes. Small talk and I do not get along at all.
Okay. So I'm curious. I'm going to put you on the spot. Why?
For me, it just feels fake. I'm not interested in little Tommy's dog or the fact that you got a new sweater. It doesn't interest me.
Really? Why? Really?
Yeah, I guess I'm not. I'm not. Yeah, it's just like surface level discussions just don't interest me. Like if it takes a lot of energy and brain power to just like process socializing. So if I'm going to spend my energy talking, it just needs to be on a worthwhile conversation. And I don't say that to sound arrogant or anything. It's just that socializing, talking, it's very draining for me. Even if I'm enjoying the conversation, it's just very, very draining. And eventually I will need to go and recharge. So I don't want to waste that energy on a discussion that just isn't of any substance. Like I want to know about you. What makes you tick?
Right.
Why do you like this sweater? Like what is so awesome about it?
So you don't mind if somebody brings up the new sweater, but you want to have a little bit of depth. You want to understand why is the sweater so important to them that they are cluing you into their new awesome sweater.
Exactly. Like maybe it matches your birthstone, and your birthstone happens to be your favorite color. And now we're talking about birthstones and zodiac signs, and then we're talking about birthdays, and then we're talking about celebrities that may happen to share our birthday. Like just like
that's such a tangent.
Exactly, but it's just like a natural progression of a conversation.
Right, but don't just like end it at like a sweater. You got the sweater, like okay.
Yeah, and congrats, you did exactly what the company wanted you to do, which was buy the sweater. Congratulations.
Fair enough.
You know how to follow instructions, I guess. I don't know.
So would you ever, if somebody were to like, just to stick with the sweater example, have you ever had somebody share like just a random tidbit and not given any context and like chosen to ask them like why they're sharing it with you, or do you just kind of like let them elaborate?
So I try not to ask why someone shared this with me. I'm
curious of where would that lead. I wonder if that would lead to the kind of conversation that you're looking for, or if it would make them like pour a glass of water on you.
Like probably the latter. Like it's just I'm sure that there's a way to ask that question without coming across as rude. I just haven't figured it out yet, so I try not to ask that question. What I will do though is if I see someone's like making an earnest effort, like trying to engage in an actual conversation, because I know me, like I can come across as aloof or disinterested.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I can give.
I'm not agreeing with that. I'm just listening.
No, but I know that I can give off that vibe. So I do try to be fair and to show people grace. So
Okay.
I
How nice of
will.
you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I try. Um, I wouldn't say I'm nice. I would say I'm kind. I'm a kind mofo.
Kind
I'm
mofo
a
who
kind
hates
mofo
small talk.
who hates small talk. So, but I will ask a follow up question to at least
Okay.
see where it is that you think you're trying to go,
Mm-hmm.
because at least from there, once I ask a follow up question, like I'm asking for more information. So this is your chance to provide some depth. Like if you're just going to stay at a surface level, then I can
Right.
help.
If you're
I
just gonna
try.
be like, "Do you like it?" I'm gonna walk away.
Yeah, like I will try to ask a very thoughtful question about the sweater.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how thoughtful you can be about sweaters, but I will
Well,
try.
you just gave everybody a whole list of questions. Like you ended up with celebrity birthdays.
I mean, but that's just how my mind works, and
That's
I'm not
true.
I'm not always there sometimes. So
I'm not always there to guide you through the boring ass sweater convo.
yeah,
So
like don't try to emulate Jay's thought process. It won't turn out well. Like I get on my own nerves sometimes. So
that's so funny. So, it's actually interesting because I did a poll on my actually before I even get to the poll. I used to hate small talk just because it made me sound comfortable. I don't really mind it anymore, and we can get a little bit into why a little bit later in the episode. Um, but I did a poll the other day on my threads, and I asked, what are your feelings about small talk? And I put three options. I put avoid at all costs. I can, but I prefer not to. And then the last one was I actually don't mind it. And I figured like most people would be in the avoid at all cost category, and then I would be alone in the I don't mind it category. But the results actually surprised me.
how so?
There we go. I like the elaborating questions. You're practicing. I could have just ended it there, right? As most small talkers like to do. Uh, but okay, so the results surprised me because it came 40 people voted. Only 13% voted avoid at all costs. 63% said I can, but I prefer not to. And then 25% said I don't actually mind it.
So I think that actually tells me two things. The first is that there is no one way to be an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly, this poll shows that there are at least three different flavors of
Right.
introverts as it pertains to just this one topic. But
Right.
I personally think that the the winning kind of choice is probably the most realistic. I think that
Right.
we don't like small talk. I think that's generally, well,
Right.
maybe not
It's
generally,
not
but
that we can't.
it's not that we
That we
can't. We
just
don't like it. But I think we understand that unfortunately it's a part of life, and
right.
depending on where you are, particularly if in your professional life where you may have to make small talk, you kind of have
You're
to deal with
probably
it.
gonna have to. Yeah.
Yeah, depending on where you are in your personal life. If you're with someone who happens to like to talk and you like that person, you gonna have to make a choice.
Right.
So I think I don't think I'm surprised by those results. I think that actually
Mm-hmm.
fits. I think you had your set of introverts who just, yeah, I don't fuck with small talk. at all.
Right. I was just more surprised. I'm not surprised about that the middle answer won. I was more surprised about the other ends of it. Like I thought it would be the other way around, that more people would avoid it at all costs versus not minding it at all.
Yeah, I just think a lot. Yeah, I think a lot of people would prefer to avoid it at all costs, but I think there's a certain level of maybe realism in that you just unfortunately can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. Like you have to talk to people
Right.
in this world, but it is not fun at all.
Right. I mean, I think for me, like the way that I was able to make peace with the fact that I have to do it, like it or not, was I just kind of reframed it. And I was like, okay, I want to have the deep conversations, number one. I want to have I want to make my life easier. Like, I want to make work conversations as quick and simple and as low energy as possible. I want to make, parties and social events actually enjoyable if I'm going to be there. And the easiest way to do that is to just make small talk more interesting for myself. So like by flipping it on its head, it's like instead of it being like a really painful thing that I have to do because society expects it, I started to think, okay, well, if I have to do it, I might as well make it fun. And if I'm having fun, then they'll have fun. And that kind of makes it easier to get to the more interesting convos, to enjoy the conversation at a party, and even to have just a more effective working relationship. So I'm curious what your thoughts are there.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I definitely think trying to make it more fun helps as opposed to focusing on just how painful or annoying it is. For me, I don't know if I try to make it more fun, but kind of how I said with the sweater example, I just try to ask questions where I can.
Right.
In any.
Look at you practicing networking.
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
You haven't listened to episode 3, by the way. That was a big thing we talked about.
Yes, check it out. But I definitely try to ask questions and follow-up questions, really, particularly if I'm just not in a talking mood. I can at least get the other person to talk, and then I can do what I actually like to do, which is just listen. And for me, any real conversation is really about listening. So I'm definitely good at that. And it works out because most people like to talk about themselves. So if I can get someone talking about themselves and I can just listen and kind of chip in with a good question here and there, I can kind of make it somewhat bearable. And there are times where I do actually enjoy the conversation because we actually get to a topic that is actually interesting and that I actually wouldn't mind contributing to.
Right. And to be honest, something that I've learned too is like when you really actually are present in the conversation, even if it starts out as small talk, if you really pay attention to what they're saying and ask more open-ended questions, you can literally lead them toward more interesting ground pretty freaking quickly.
Exactly.
And then everybody wins. Then you get to hear an interesting story. You get to hear why they think the way they do. You get to hear their perspectives. While really asking really simple, short questions. Everybody wins.
That's exactly it. And that's exactly what I try to do is to try to lead them somewhere that
somewhere you care, but somewhere you want to go.
Exactly. Like if we're gonna be here talking, at least try to get somewhere that I can actually engage without feeling drained or feeling drained too quickly.
Right. And it kind of makes it, like I said, it makes it fun. And I'm curious, like, when did, because I know you're not a big fan of small talk, but like, where is it like the most painful versus the least painful for you?
So I say a lot that small talk feels like punishment. So that's kind of where I am when it comes
Hmm.
when it comes to small talk. But
So just across the board, it's basically like hell on earth.
yeah, pretty much. I would say probably when meeting new people, dealing with people that I don't know, because you're trying to be polite, you're trying not to feel awkward or make somebody else feel awkward, but you just have absolutely zero interest in anything this person has to say.
Hmm.
But you can't say that.
Right.
well, you should.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, unless you
you
want to
shouldn't say
get,
that. I'll say that you shouldn't say that.
you can say that,
You
but
can
it's
say that.
probably not going to end too well.
Yeah. So it's for me. It can be hard because I find myself trying to think. Okay, let me see if I can steer this discussion somewhere, which again takes a lot of energy.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not, but I would say
Right.
that's probably for me the most painful or the hardest. Like the easiest is with people that I know because I've known them long
Right.
enough. They know me long enough to kind of know what we like to talk about. So
Right.
it's actually kind of bearable. Like I've mentioned my former boss on probably a few of our past episodes.
Hmm.
You know,
The
I
extrovert.
yep, my ex boss. We talk about a range of things, but we actually always start any of our discussions with some small talk. And for me, that's cool. It's actually not an issue because I know eventually we're going to get to an actual substantial topic, and even if we don't, I know how to guide us there.
Right.
But that's just 10, 11 years of knowing this person. So
Right.
with someone that I know and that I'm familiar with, it's not as painful because I'm very equipped to steer the discussion somewhere where we're actually having a more meaningful conversation.
Hmm.
So yeah.
So I'm curious, like kind of switching like gears a little bit here, is like I know that you're a big fan of humor.
Right.
So have you ever like I know I do this and it's a risky move a little bit because you never know what you're gonna get, like what kind of reaction you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm feeling like uncomfortable and like small talk is just like leading to nowhere, I'll just make a joke with whatever pops out of my mouth. And usually it gets them laughing. And then all of a sudden we're zooming towards the path of like, this is going to be a fun conversation. So, like, within 5 minutes, if we're not like connecting, I usually just go for a quick laugh and it works like a charm. So, I'm curious if you've ever entertained that or tried that or would try that.
I've definitely done that. Like I said, I definitely enjoy humor. I don't take myself seriously. So and I have a pretty quick wit. So I
Right.
do even if it's not just an actual joke, I may just make a very humorous remark or a
Right.
very most of my humor is observational, so I'll just make an observation, but just tell it in probably the weirdest way possible.
Right.
And it just because it just makes it's so absurd that it just makes someone laugh. And then yeah, from there, once I guess you kind of broken the ice, we can kind of have
Yeah.
a more in-depth discussion. But yeah, I do try to incorporate some humor where I can and where it makes sense. But I will say
Right.
a lot of it depends on the vibe
Oh my God, yes.
with the
Like some
person.
people just are not the vibe. Like I know that sounds really mean, but like
Yeah, and
like
like I think
that's not on me.
yeah, like and I don't think that gets talked about enough. Like it really is about the vibe and maybe more so for introverts, but there just has to be a certain vibe. Like I need to actually want to talk to you.
Right.
And at least for me, for the most part, I don't get that vibe from most people.
Right.
I
Yeah,
make
and
I make
then
no apologies.
not only that, but like sometimes I get in my own head, and I was gonna ask this earlier, but then a different question just popped out of my mouth, so I went with it. Um, I'm an overthinker, and I know that you have said that you are too. So sometimes even if my vibe is right, I might be in like a weird like energy state where I think that the other person is getting a weird vibe from me, and then I just get in my head and can't talk.
Um, I guess maybe when I was younger, I felt that way, but I will say for the most part, no, I don't really get in my own head when it comes to small talk or talking to people in general. I've actually gotten to
Right.
the point where if I want to say something, I'll just walk up to somebody and say it. I just don't have
Ooh,
I
that's
don't
so
have
cool.
yeah, I just don't have that desire 95% of the time. But
Right.
but yeah, I don't of the things that I overthink about, that probably is not one of them.
Right. Well, I think that happens more so when I'm like sort of cornered into a conversation that I'm not really mentally or emotionally prepared for. Not even emotionally. Like how emotional is elevator small talk? For me it's a lot, but um like when I'm like kind of like trapped in a situation where there's another human and like they talk to me and I'm just not there or I'm not like ready to have a conversation, I start to like my mind starts to like overact.
Hmm. How so?
I just like I get tongue tied. Like I'm like I can't think of anything good to say, so I'm just like, yeah, how about that weather? I become the weather person who everybody hates, but I can't think of anything. Like they'll say hi, like trying to have like a normal conversation. And you know what? It also tends to happen with people that are not friends, but not strangers either. And I wouldn't even put them in the bucket of acquaintances. Like, it's like we've had conversations before, but like I don't really know them.
Mhm.
So, like, we're just, for one reason or another, like stuck in an elevator or stuck like at a party or like we're just stuck in a conversation that I was not prepared to be in, and I just my mind is going crazy but my mouth will not formulate words, and the only thing that comes out is what do you think of the weather? And it's a problem.
I
Because
will.
they're like, I follow you on social media and you're so talkative. Like, why are you suddenly so shy? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
I will say, I did. I never used to have a question that I hated, but anything having to do with the weather, how was the weather? I
You
cannot.
better hope you never end up in an elevator with me
Oh
then.
my god, I cannot stand that question because it's just. Oh my, I don't know.
Can you give me a better one? Give me a replacement one so I could just like surprise everyone.
I'll think of it. Okay, I'll think of a question for you, but
Think of it now. Just kidding.
no, I'm not doing that. But I would when I was living in California, people back east would always ask me, like, "How's the weather?" Like, it's sunny. It's California. How do you think the weather is? It's like it's sunny 300 days out of the year. If you ask me tomorrow, it's probably going to be sunny. Like the next is going to be sunny for the next 6 months. Like, you don't need to ask me this question. And then now that I'm back on the East Coast, all the people in California asking about
how's the weather?
like, it's, I
Does
don't know.
it suck?
Like, it's fucking Earth. Like, what like, I just hate that question because it's like,
oh my God.
Like, where do you go from that? You know,
it's the worst question ever. And every time I ask it, I literally just want to punch myself in the face.
Well, don't do that.
I would get really hurt. I don't do it. Don't worry.
Well, yeah, I agree. I don't like that question because we're not going to have a half-hour discussion about weather.
Right, but what should I say instead? Like, what's your deepest, darkest secret? Like, that would be an interesting conversation in an elevator.
I mean, it would, particularly in an elevator.
It's quite an approach.
Try it out. Let me know.
Oh my God, do you dare me? Do you dog dare me?
I do. Matter of fact, okay. I'll raise you one. It's won't even be a question. Just be like, I want to play a game. See how that goes.
Want to play truth or dare?
I want to play a game and just smile when you say it. See how they react.
I'm picturing this. I'm taking the stairs tomorrow at work just so I don't have to do the stairs. And mind you, I'm on the 38th floor. I better get there early. I'll do it. I'll report back.
Yes, I must know how this goes.
Oh my God, this is gonna be interesting. Should maybe I should take a camera with me? Yes. That would be a good man on the street episode. Oh my God.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, guys, by the way, little breaking the fourth wall here. We are going to be doing some man on the street episodes at some point. And basically we're just going to ask people in the streets of New York a question. So maybe we'll do truth or dare. Maybe we'll ask them for their deepest, darkest secret. Maybe we'll ask them. I don't know. There's a lot of questions we could ask.
There are. I don't know if truth or dare in New York City works.
That could go horribly wrong.
that could go horribly wrong because we end up with a bunch of people who just want to get dares and like no, like I don't know if New York City is the right place for a truth or dare. We might just want to ask.
We might end up in jail.
We might. We just want to ask them for their secrets or something safe because it gets wild in New York. So
that's true. And honestly, the stories people are going to tell are going to be wild enough. We don't need to make up. We don't need to create stories. We just want to hear them. Yeah,
like I think if you're from New York, particularly if you're from New York, you have at least 5 stories ready to go.
Exactly. You better. Otherwise, are you even a New Yorker?
Seriously, like, are you even a New Yorker?
That sounded mean. Oh well. Really? But are you?
What are you? Like, are you even in, like, are you a New Yorker if you've never seen people try to have sex in a subway? Like during rush hour, with people just walking past them, not even caring because they're trying to catch their next train.
Well, I mean, at some point you stop even noticing. It's so bad. Like people are like, "How do you deal with it?" I'm like, I don't even see it.
You don't. You really don't. Really don't. It just.
I mean, I happen to be partly blind, but like.
it's like well, you actually have a valid excuse. Like you really don't see it.
Right. I just take my contacts out. I'm like, I can't deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moral of the story is we will not. Well, actually, that was the wrong expression, but. In conclusion to that, we will. Oh my goodness. We will not be asking. We will not be making dares on the streets of New York City. We'll just dare another podcaster to do it, and we'll listen.
Yeah, like I think truth or dare is more of a in-house thing.
Yeah, that could be fun at our event, maybe.
Yes.
Why do I want to play this game? I hate this game.
I mean, truth or dare can be fun. You have to know your personnel. I'll say that. Like you
That's
have to
true.
know who in your group is liable to do some wild shit if you dare them. And so
Right.
there are people who are like up for anything, and you just have to know this and know how to navigate that. Because if you tell them,
Right.
"I dare you to whatever," they'll do it with
Right. My
no,
husband.
yeah, like no hesitation. So you
I'm
just
like,
have,
please do not play truth or dare with this man because he will do it.
yeah, like some people just are just wired that way. I'm not one of them.
No, me neither. I'll tell you the truth about literally anything, which is problematic too. But that's another topic.
Exactly. I'm the same way. Like if you, I'm I don't even think there are any dares that I would do. Like my response would be kiss my ass. Like I don't care. Like that's probably gonna be
Right.
my go-to response for any dare.
Right. But any truth, I'll probably spill the tea and then hate myself later.
Aw.
Maybe not that aggressive. I'll just be mad at myself.
But I guess, you know, on the opposite extreme of small talk, there is sharing too much information. So do you feel that you sometimes
Oh
share
yeah.
way too much information?
I have a problem. I just want like if I'm in a talkative mood. So here's the thing: as much as I struggle with small talk in certain situations, I struggle to shut up in other situations. And it doesn't matter who you are to me, how I know you. If I am in a chatty mood and I have something to say, and you happen to be the poor unfortunate soul that is right there, you're gonna hear whatever is on my mind. Even if it hasn't been filtered or explored or like thought about or reflected on. If you happen to be the person in the room when I feel like talking, God bless you.
I can kind of be the same way, particularly if there's a topic that we're on a topic that I happen to like talking about. Like, yeah,
Right.
I will not shut up.
Right.
But
So you have foot and mouth syndrome a little bit?
yeah, I do. There have definitely been times where I've like kicked myself for thinking that I overshared something or said something, said too much. And
Right.
why the hell did I say that? So I've definitely felt that way on more than one occasion.
Right. And I feel like for me, it's not even that I really say anything that's all that offensive or like that's all that much of a secret. It's just that I like just share too much information that like nobody cares about. Like it's like very clear that I'm like stream of conscious talking. Like I haven't yet filtered it or processed it. It's just coming out of my mouth to an audience that really didn't need to be that audience.
Yeah, like I've definitely been there, and it's not a fun feeling because
I've
then
gotten better, I guess.
that's good.
That's,
But yeah, it's
awareness, like being aware is the first step.
exactly. There needs to be a support group for like oversharers, like oversharers anonymous or something like that.
Oh my God. That would be a stadium. Like, that might be multiple stadiums. I would go.
Yeah,
Maybe we
would.
should start it.
Yes, like hi, I'm Jay, and I overshare. Hi, Jay.
Oh my God, but the meeting would never end.
I don't know. I think, but I will say instead of like a 12-step program, or probably like a 2-step program. Like one is you admit that you overshare, and two, you shut the fuck up. So. Like,
That's gonna be a clip. That's so funny. Overshare that. I think we should start it, or we should make it a t-shirt.
Yes, overshare is anonymous.
That's so funny. Oh my. Step 2 is shut the fuck up. Oh my god. I'm like actually crying right now. I'm actually glad that we don't have a camera. That's so funny. Oh my god. Let us know. Would you guys join Overshares Anonymous? Do you need to join? Are you as bad as we are?
Yes, let us know. We must know.
Although I'm a little scared because don't just do us a favor. Don't put it in your review. Just do it separately.
What I mean, let's be honest. I think a lot of problems could be resolved if people just shut the fuck up sometimes.
That is true. Do you have like an inner voice like telling you to shut up? I do.
Yes.
I don't listen, but there I hear.
I'll say for the most part I do, but yeah, like I said, there are definitely times where I don't, and I end up kicking myself because I'm like, yeah, you didn't need to share that, and like you said, there's nothing necessarily bad or embarrassing. It's just more, just didn't have to say that,
Right. I will say though, like, you know what's actually helped me a ton is the stream of consciousness journaling. Like, because now rather than just like word vomiting onto like people or onto the internet, I just do it into a Google Doc and then like it's like it gets it out.
You know what? I am right there with you. Like I said, I've gotten, well, we've talked offline, but I've gotten more into journaling and writing down all my thoughts. So
right,
yeah, I'm right there with you. It's a
right,
very freeing experience, and I will say that once I kind of get all of the just random thoughts on the paper, I'm less likely to overshare.
right, and it's like, and also, well, what the hell? Okay. Slow down, Steph. Now I can't. I'm saying I overshare. Now I can't even talk. So go figure. Anywho, so I find that if I journal, like a stream of consciousness journal into a voice note, that helps even more. So have you done that?
I have not done the voice notes.
Oh my god, it's like a game changer. Partly because I can't read my own handwriting. And then partly because, like, what you were saying the other week, how, like, your thoughts are on page 5, but, like, your typing's still on page 1.
Yes, my typing is on. It's not even on page 1. It's just like the book hasn't even opened yet.
Right.
It's just...
Exactly. So talking, I'm able to talk, obviously, at a much faster speed than I'm able to write. So it's like, that solves that problem, too.
I think I might have to try that.
Yeah, let me know how it goes. Anyway, how the hell did we get here?
Who knows? Introvert tangents.
Introvert tangent. See, I mean, isn't this so much better than small talk, though?
It is, because you have literally no idea where the discussion is going to go. And that's, to me, is what makes it so interesting.
Right. It's fun. Maybe I should try. I'm just going to tell people, I don't know. I really am still stuck on this question of what to ask instead of what.
18 minutes later, we're still stuck on this question.
I'm stumped. And you know what the problem is too, is like, okay, this is what I wanted to ask you. We'll come back to that. So lately, because of the very highly charged political climate lately, people seem to think it is appropriate to, in lieu of small talk, is to bring up a hot button political issue, just assuming that you're on the same side as them. And that is like wild to me.
Yeah, don't do that, folks.
It's so weird. Like, I'm like, you don't know. Like, you don't know. And I don't really want to have this conversation with you in the elevator. Just ask me about the weather.
back to the weather. But you're right. I think it. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know. People just feel emboldened to do that, but
right. Sometimes I respond saying the exact opposite, and it's so funny to watch them like just like freak out. Not even because I believe it. Just like it's a great way to get them to go away.
It
fast.
Me, I tend to just stare at them until they get the hint and go away. Like we're not having this discussion. It's just
what happened to small talk? Jesus Christ! Like
no, it's not no small talk, no extra small talk, no minuscule talk. You can just go.
I'd rather small talk than that though. Than just like dumping your like very hot button opinion on me at 8:30 in the morning.
Nah,
I don't know.
Like I just can't do it because like for me it's going to turn into an actual conversation that that person probably doesn't want to have.
Right.
And you know, again, I try very hard not to be an asshole. So
right.
I think those are just one of the times where I would just have to stare at someone until they go away, or just keep it extremely short because we're just not going to go down this particular road. Now, I'm fortunate, I guess, that I haven't been in too many of those situations, and I can venture as to why that may be. But yeah, I just haven't been in too many of those situations. So.
Lucky you. Yeah. It definitely happens more at like gatherings. More so, like I have yet to have it really happen in like a situation like an elevator.
Mm-hmm.
It's more happened in situations where somebody like doesn't really know what to say, and like that's really the only thing that they can talk about, and they just assume that everybody has the same opinion as them. And assume that everybody wants to talk about those things at all times. So there's like a lot of assuming going there, which, by the way, don't assume. We all know you make an ass of you and me. Or maybe that person doesn't. But yeah, I come up with just ask me about the weather, please. That is where the weather is a good question. Instead, I like. If I didn't know like what you were gonna ask instead, I'd be annoyed by the weather question, I guess. But I would rather the weather question over that.
Fair enough. Well, here's a kind of funny story. I was actually on my way to a concert a few years back, and I wanted to grab something to eat before I went, so I didn't have to worry about should I eat before or after? So I pop over to Wendy's. Shout out Wendy's.
I love Wendy's. They have the best chicken nuggets.
They do. Spicy nuggets, man, come on.
So crispy. Oh my goodness.
Yes, Wendy's, if you need someone to endorse your nuggets.
We're looking for sponsors.
Yes. Talk to us. I don't mind being paid in nuggets. I prefer cash, but I mean, if you want to give the kid, a cool 50-piece nuggets, that could work.
We'll take it.
You will take it. Baconator, some cheese fries.
All right, now you're getting crazy.
I'm getting hungry. That's what I'm getting.
Okay, yeah.
But I digress. I digress. I was in Wendy's, ordering a Baconator of all things, and this gentleman, white guy, was kind of standing. He was standing next to me, and he said something like he guess he was trying to make a little joke, and I heard him, but I wasn't like really listening. Cause I was more focused on like getting my order in and just kind of paying attention for when they called me to get my order.
Mm-hmm.
So he said we had to say it, and I kind of like I said, nodded and smiled and just kind of stood there. And he came back and like asked me. I guess he thought he was trying to figure out like why I wasn't engaging. And I guess he thought, or he was trying to see if the reason I wasn't talking to him was because he was a white dude. And I'm like,
well, what? You can think a lot.
Like, what?
What is wrong with people?
I don't know. It's just like I forget the way he asked the question, but I was like, nah, I'm just trying to, get my food and get out because I got
Why are
somewhere.
people so weird and insecure? Like,
I don't know. I just got somewhere to be, and he's like, oh, okay, I didn't know if it was the other thing, and I'm like in my head, what do you mean the other thing? I'm like, oh, he thought because he thought I was quiet because I don't talk to white people, and I'm like, nah, dude.
What a weird thing to assume. Like, you're in a Wendy's. You're not like at work. You don't work together. You've never. Like, what?
Yeah, now, to be fair, he did look like he was straight out of Deliverance, but still.
Okay.
That's
not your problem.
Yeah, it's not. But it's like, okay, I don't know. But it's just one of those things where, like you said, people assume, and they really shouldn't.
Right.
I'm just trying to get my food and get in the car and go to this concert, and he's he's thinking all the other things. But at the same time, I do appreciate that he came back and asked for that clarification.
Okay.
He could have went off and said, "Oh, this dude don't talk to white people," and like, who knows?
Right.
That could have went. So I do appreciate that he came back. And we actually did, talk for a couple minutes while both of our orders were getting ready. So, yeah, don't know how we got on the topic, but just wanted to share that story.
Some people, I mean, whatever. I'm always sharing interesting, like that is an interesting story, like because it got me thinking, like, how many times have I been out in public, like just not really wanting to talk to strangers, and like a stranger would be like, "Hi, aren't you gonna say hello?" I'm like, "Hi," like, why do you want me to talk to you so bad? But I guess sometimes people are just lonely. I don't know. Like lonely Wendy's guy.
Lonely Wendy's guy.
He's probably lonely, right? I mean, like, why else do you need to talk to a total stranger in a Wendy's?
Maybe. I don't know. I do have a question. These people who I guess accost you to talk.
So aggressive, like shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to assume. Are they mostly of the male persuasion?
No.
Okay. Now that's a shocker. Say more.
It's usually old women, like elderly, like not elderly, but like older women. I don't know. I think it's just because like I have resting happy face, so I look like I want to talk, but then I don't. So then they're just like confused. I'm like, look, I can't help to smile. It just my face. It does not mean that I want to talk to you.
But that
so I think what's going on is they see like this happy little like smiley girl who looks like she might be bubbly, but then I don't say anything. Mm-hmm. So then they're probably like, hi, and then I probably don't hear them. There's like the whole thing. Like I've thought about this a lot. I'm like, I probably don't hear them say hello. So then they're like, hello, how's it going? And I'm like, what? So I think that's what's going on there.
Interesting. I never would have guessed that would be the demographic that did that. So
I definitely think it's my face. It's a lot to do with my face.
Okay. Interesting.
I have the misfortune of it's and people say not a problem. Like, you don't understand what it's like to have a face that is permanently stuck in a smile. I like legitimately cannot make a serious face. Even when I'm crying, I'm like laughing half the time. It's like, it's so frustrating
and confusing.
I'm like, I'm angry.
Are you though?
I am like furious, and I'm even angrier that I'm still smiling.
Oh my goodness!
I'm smiling right now. It's so annoying. Make it stop.
I can't. I'm still trying to figure out what question to ask you instead of what the weather is. I can only handle certain, I don't have enough bandwidth for both of these tasks.
Oh my gosh. Maybe I should maybe that should be my question. Do you ever struggle? No, I don't know. I don't know what question would that even be? Because nobody struggles with resting happy face.
Yeah, but I guess this may only work in the elevator. But if you find yourself, I guess, in the elevator, ask somebody what their favorite elevator music is. I don't know.
Oh,
Like me personally, I like "Girl" from Ipanema.
Ipanema.
Girl from Ipanema. Yes.
I'm gonna have to check that one. I probably heard it.
I think most people have heard it. Like once they hear kind of the rhythm, awesome song.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to check it out. I feel like I can't even think of an elevator music song because, like, if they turn it on me, I'm screwed. What's a good elevator music song?
Yeah.
Levels by Avicii. I don't even like that song. I'm literally Googling it so that I can ask the question. And like, this is gonna take some serious. There's too much research. Can't do it. I could ask them what is a good movie that they watched recently.
I guess that.
I don't really like movies though.
So when you turn around and ask you, you're gonna be stumped.
Exactly. Talladega Nights. That's the only movie I've watched in like 5 years. Yeah, guys, if you can help with this elevator question, let us know.
Yes. What is the best question to ask a total stranger in the elevator?
If they insist on talking to you.
If they insist on talking.
Also, for my fellow resting happy face people, how do you turn it off? If any of you out there exist, this could be just a Steph problem. Who knows? How do I stop smiling?
I mean, I don't know. That's not something that I can relate to. My issue is I always look like I'm serious.
So maybe we just need to trade places like that movie Freaky Friday. Oh my god, imagine. That'd be wild. Imagine like my personality in your body and vice versa.
Oh my goodness.
That would be a mind fuck.
Yeah, I'd be like Raven from Teen Titans Go. Just
That's so funny. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what I would be like.
Yes. Like if you guys, to the podcast audience, if you don't know about Teen Titans Go, it's awesome.
That's your homework.
Yes. Bone up on Teen Titans Go and the original Teen Titans because it's the same voice cast.
Okay.
It's an awesome show.
I guess I'm gonna have to go watch it now.
Yeah.
All right, Sam. feel like I'm getting hungry, and we know what that means.
Yes, that is the telltale sign that our episode is coming to a close because Steph is getting hungry.
I'm getting hungry. So that said, let us know what you thought of this small talk episode. Can you do this one?
Yep. As you can see, we're still working on landing endings
9
here.
episodes in.
Yep. But that's why we have, we're co-pilots. So I got this. Let me try to land this bird. Here we go.
A little more gracefully, hopefully.
Here we go. Yes. Let's turn
Deep
around, and reapproach. Here we go. So we want to thank you for tuning into this almost hour-long discussion on small talk of all things.
And over talking also.
In over talking. We definitely appreciate you taking the time to hang with us. We do request that you like, share, comment, tell us how you like this episode. Tell us what your favorite elevator song is. I'm curious.
And your favorite elevator question.
Exactly. You definitely want to know. But
we spent about 25 minutes talking about it and didn't come up with anything. So
that's true. But we definitely, again, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Tune in same time next week. We have a brand new episode for Steph. I am Jay. And as we always say, that rhymes. It's awesome. But I digress. As we always say, from Steph and Jay, stay introverted.
I had no idea where you were going with that. Well, stay introverted. I'm going to go eat dinner.
All right. Check you later. Peace.
Peace out.